Stick around, I got a little story for you. But first, a little cut. It is freezing out today and the wind is terrible. Let me update you real quick on what's going on in the woodyard here, and then we'll sit down and chat. So, for those of you new here, I've been piling wood right here. Now, previous years or last year, I just piled it in long rows back there. And I still have leftover wood, leftover logs there from last year that I'll be doing this year, but I'm running out of time. So I only got 5, 6, 7 months until firewood season really heats up, until the deliveries start. So I'm using this as a dock here, a splitting dock, just making a huge pile here. And then with some help, I'm getting single rows stacked there. I'm doing single row stacking. Now, if you want to dry your wood real quick, you can either put it in a pile, or, now this is my belief and I think it's true, or if you're going to stack it, you got to do it in single rows. Now, if you got time, if you got more than 6 months, a year, 2 years to dry your wood, if you're not in a hurry, we all love seeing a beautiful stack of wood. You can stack it 1 row deep, 2 rows deep, fill in the middle there, but 2 up against each other, 3 rows deep, again, fill in the middle there, 4 rows deep, 5. However thick you want your stack of wood, your rows of wood to be, it won't matter if you got time. I know some guys who are 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead, 4 years ahead, and they make beautiful stacks of their wood. I love it. I'm all for it. When you got to dry your wood really fast, desperate times call for desperate measures. So people who produce tons and tons of wood as well, you're not going to stack probably over 50, 100 cords. Once you get into 200 cords, I'm talking full cords, 300. There's people who produce 500, 1,000 and more cords a year. And so this year's a different setup. I gotta try what I can. And I think single row stacking will be faster than a pile. Why is that? Because you're getting direct heat and wind, air, on every piece of wood. And those are the main ingredients for drying, is heat and air. And so that's what I'm up to here. And, by the way, thank you for joining me. That's about 5 minutes late, but I wanted to tell you guys a story. Those of you who've been watching my channel for the last year that I've been on here, and any newcomers there, I want to tell you about myself. In the future, I'll tell you more how I got into the firewood business and how I arrived at this point in life. So let's come over here and sit down. Well, it only took me 3 days to get from over there to over here. The sound was so messed up that night I uploaded the original video that I had to delete the story I was going to share. As the title would suggest, I've done a lot of time in prison. From the age of 15 to 25, I did 8 of those 10 years in prison. But I had a life-changing encounter with God. If you don't want to hear about God, I totally understand that and don't want to force you to listen about God. And the rest of this video is going to be a lot about God and myself and my story. I grew up in a rough family. I ended up using a lot of drugs and alcohol as a teenager and running with the wrong crowd and doing a lot of dumb stuff, of course, and going in and out of juvenile hall, jail, and prison. Let's fast forward to when I was leading the police on a high-speed chase. And later they testified I was going over 85 miles an hour. And I had bald tires, and I was driving on a back mountain road. I lost control of my vehicle at a certain point. I ran into the rail on the side of the 2-lane highway and going 85 again, and it launched me into the air, flipping 3 times and landing in the ditch on the other side of the highway. So I flipped 3 times over 2 lanes of highway and landed in the ditch. Of course, my car was in shambles. It looked like an accordion. It was just smashed from all sides. And the police thought I was dead. Now, when I was flipping through the air, something reached into the car and held me in my seat. I didn't have a seatbelt on, nothing like that. Something literally came into the car and held me into my seat. I'm spinning through the air. I'm in my seat, being pushed into my seat, and my toolbox and my tools and everything else that I had in that car was flying all around me. I knew that that was the hand of God, and I knew he was saying it's time. Enough is enough. I was completely uninjured. I had a couple scratches, but no significant injury at all. I was arrested and I went in doing 4 years. So I went to prison, and 2 years into that prison sentence, I was in my cell and I was really depressed and down, and I cried out to God. And I said, God, I need a touch from you. I need to meet you for real. And I started crying. Tears were running down my cheeks. And all of a sudden it felt like warm buckets of lava, like love was being poured down over me. I could physically feel it. And also it was filling me up from the inside. And the only way I can describe it is it was his presence. And it changed the room. It changed the cell. It changed everything in me and around me. And I also saw him, I wouldn't say with my eye. Those of you who have had, spiritual experiences like this, you can kind of understand. I felt like I saw him come into the cell and he was full of joy and he was full of forgiveness and love for me. So fast forward, I get out of prison a couple years later, and I meet my wife and we get married and we go to ministry school real soon after. And we end up being pastors for 10 years. And we learned a lot. We went through a lot of great stuff. We went through a lot of hard stuff. And I have a lot of stories from that, as well as stories from prison that would probably you would love to hear. And so that was over in 2021. We quit pastoring, and it's 2025 now. And so from pastoring in 2021 to going back to the woods and doing firewood in 2022, that was a journey in itself. But I did grow up doing firewood and being around the woods, so I wasn't completely new to it. But stepping back into it has been an adventure. I appreciate you guys, those of you who have subscribed or even just watching this video, liking the video, commenting, whatever type of engagement you have. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to leave you guys with that, and there will be more to come in the future from the Woodyard and the prison yard, and maybe the churchyard. I don't know what you call it, but God bless you guys and love you, and I'll see you next time.